children. So I'm back again with a new video for you all, and it is related to one of the important transportation means, that is waterways. Okay, as you have seen in the earlier videos, the roadways, railways and airways already we have completed, and now in this video we are going to discuss about the waterways. What is it? What is its importance? What are the advantage and disadvantages of it? Okay, now let's start with it. And before that, I want to remind you once again, do share the link of this video with your friends and classmates so that they can also get the benefit of it, right? And one more thing, do subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that any video when it is uploaded on the channel, you will get the notification regarding that. Okay, because this is very important and it is mainly meant for your preparation. Now let's start with the topic, waterways. Waterways is actually, when we talk about the different means of transport, there are actually two basic types, right? One is only limited to the land area. The other one belongs to either the ocean or sea or the air, right? So here we have already discussed about the land transport, which includes the roadways as well as the railways. Then next comes the waterways. Waterways, or and another one is the airways. So airways we have already discussed in the earlier video. Now it's waterways we have to discuss. Waterways is basically a means of transport, children, which is the oldest means of transport, okay, which was in use since ancient times, right? For trading and all, the people used to actually go through the waterways in different areas, and moreover for transport also, right? So waterways has been in use since long time. And one very important point about it is that it is the cheapest means of transport out of all the means of transport. Whatever we have, out of all the other means, waterways is the cheapest means of transport. This is a very strong advantage of it, right? So it is most suitable, because of this quality, it is most suitable for carrying especially heavy and bulky goods, right? Which actually costs a lot. Because of the weight, it costs a lot by other means of transport. And in the case of waterways, these are actually not going to cost much, right? Because waterways is the cheapest means of transport, and besides this, it is a transport means which is fuel efficient, right? And moreover, it is environment friendly also. So these are some important positive aspects of it, positive sides, or you can say the advantages of the waterways. Then in when we use the waterways, you'll find the construction of roads and all, or the rail tracks, is not required at all, right? So that is additional point in favor of this. Then the element of wear and tear, when we use the vehicles or the trains and all, so in that case the wear and tear actually is an important part of it, right? And that costs too much. But when we talk about the waterways, in this case the wear and tear is very less, right? More than 95% of the country's trade volume is actually carried on by the seaways. For trading purpose, it is one of the best means of transport. Okay? And it is the main source of transportation for the national trade, especially when we talk about just India, because we have got a long coastline. Okay? So we are taking full benefit of it, right? And that's why the total trade what we have in our country, maximum part of it is done through the seaways. Okay, so it is the main source of transportation for the national trade. Now, when we talk about the waterways, there are two type of waterways. Okay, one is inland waterways, which is within the land area. Suppose we are moving, we are using the water in the form of, suppose, any of the water bodies. We are using any rivers, we are using any canals, right? We are using any ponds or any reservoirs for the dams and all, which are used for transportation purpose or for other means. So waterways, when we use within the land area, any water body which is there that is used for this purpose, that is called inland waterways. Okay, the other type of waterways is actually called as oceanic waterway. Oceanic waterway means when we are using any sea or the ocean body for transportation. So that is called, we are using the oceanic way. Okay, that's why it is called oceanic waterways. Clear? Now, the rivers, canals, backwaters, creeks are actually used in the case of inland waterways, right? So these have to be at least deep enough, right? That is the basic requirement for it. Because unless these are deep, the ships or the boats which are moving over there, they won't be able to move properly, right? So for that purpose, these, the rivers, canals, backwaters, or the creeks, whatever we are using for this purpose, these should have a proper depth. Okay, at least a depth which is enough to allow the ships and boats to navigate safely within that. Okay, when it is very shallow water, it is not favorable for the movement of ships or the boats in that. Clear? Another point is that these waterways must be free of any barriers. Any barriers means we are talking of the waterfalls, rapids, and all, right? Or the rocky structure. Whenever a rocky surface is there, that creates problem in a free movement of the boats and the ships, right? That is one thing. Second thing is that whenever there are rapids and waterfalls, suppose we are using any river for this purpose, for transportation purpose. So if a river is actually falling from a great height, there is a waterfall or any rapid is there in between, so naturally it is not suitable for this purpose, right? And this is the reason, children, one thing you should understand, that a major part of India is having, either in extreme northern side, if you see the northern mountainous region, okay, the Himalayan region, that is one area, or the northeastern region full of mountainous area. So that area is least used for waterways, right? The reason being very undulated land area, moreover, rocky surface, right? Several ups and downs are there, so it's not suitable, it's not ideal for the waterways, at least for the transportation purpose. Then another thing is that a very large area is again covered by the plateaus and small mountains in the southern region. So in peninsular area also, if you see, there is Deccan Plateau. Then the several mountains are there in the south also, in peninsular region. So there again, the rivers are, one thing is that the rivers which are flowing in the peninsular area, all these rivers are non-perennial, right? Or you can say these are seasonal rivers. Now, what is the meaning of non-perennial? Non-perennial means the rivers which flow only during a particular season, that is rainy season. That means they get water during the rainy season. So rest of the other period of the year, they remain dry. So either they get dry or they have very less flow of water, which is not suitable for the movement of ships or the boats in that. So again, in the peninsular region or in the high mountainous area, if we see, a large part of India is actually covered under the mountains and the plateaus. And that's why we can say that in India, the waterways are not fully utilized. Okay. A big reason for that is this only, what I have discussed just now. Only major area where the inland waterways are used to its maximum, that is actually inland waterways, I am saying, right? So inland waterways is maximum used in the northern plains from extreme western side towards extreme east. Okay, so these are a few important things regarding the inland waterways. Now, the next thing you should know here is the Inland Waterways Authority of India, right? IWAI. Inland Waterways Authority of India. Now, what is it? It is a statutory authority in charge of the waterways in India, right? This is a department which has been given full, you can say, control or the total management of all these water bodies, waterways actually, inland waterways which are there in India, right? Their construction, their maintenance, their planning, all these things are actually looked after by this body, that is Inland Waterways Authority of India, right? It builds the necessary infrastructure in these waterways so that it can be used to its maximum. Then it surveys the economic feasibility of new projects. Suppose any new waterways has to be developed in any area, so for that purpose, the necessary infrastructures are provided on one side and the surveys are done, especially how much it is feasible in that area. Okay. Moreover, it helps in administration and regulation also of the waterways, the inland waterways, right? Now, one very, very important river which is used for this purpose is River Ganga, because we all know it that in the northern plains it is the Ganga river, the most important river in that area, and Ganga along with its tributaries, these rivers actually provide a wide range of you can say waterways in the northern plains. Okay, and being all the rivers being perennial rivers, these provide sufficient water also. So that is again something very important to know here. Now, perennial river fed by monsoon rains in the rainy season and melting of snow. What are perennial river now? Ganga and all its tributaries which are coming from the Himalayan ranges. These all are perennial rivers. That means they flow throughout the year. Perennial means these are not seasonal. They don't flow only during one particular season. They flow throughout the year. That means they have sufficient amount of water in their course. Now, that means they are getting the water supply in two ways, right? One is from the rains, right? And another way is by the melting of snow from the high mountainous region. Okay, so these are the sources of water in the perennial rivers. Now, joined by various tributaries, which actually further adds the water in it and its depth also, that makes the this river very important for the uh, waterways for the transportation purpose. Okay, moreover, the slope of Ganga is very gradual. Okay, and the river bed is also free of any rocky surface, or you can say the stones and silt and all, right? So all these conditions make it the most suitable river for the transportation purpose. Now let's talk about all the national waterways. Just like we were talking earlier about the national highways, just like these highways we are having in the case of water bodies, we are using the waterways, right? These are national waterways, and these are actually, you should know in which area these are providing service. Now, national waterways number one, it is basically, it comprises of Ganga, Bhagirathi and Hooghly rivers. Okay, that means the entire northern plains. Clear? And it basically this entire river system is working for it, which connects Haldia, Kolkata, Farakka, Munger, Patna, Varanasi, and Allahabad. All these important centers, important cities are actually linked by this waterways, right? And this waterway, it actually stretches to more than 1620 kilometers of potentially navigable waterway. Because I told you just now that it is having a very gradual slope, so it is quite suitable for the movement of any ship or the boats in it. Moreover, quite sufficient amount of water is there because of several tributaries which join it. So depth of water, very gradual slope, and the absence of any rocky surface, right? All these things, and the perennial flow of water, all these things actually make it suitable for the for to be used as a waterway, right? Next is the National Waterway number 2. Now it stretches to about 891 kilometers and was declared a national waterway in 1988. Okay, and it connects the northeastern region with Kolkata and Haldia ports through Bangladesh and Sundarbans, right? Now this is a waterway which is connecting the northeastern region with the port city, you can say the Kolkata. Clear? Then National Waterway number 3, it runs from Kollam to Kottapuram, right, in south, and it comprises 168 kilometers of West Coast Canal along with Champakara Canal and Udyog Mandal Canal. These canals are providing the water for the working of this National Waterway number 3. That means maximum part of it is actually moving through the canals. Okay, and it was declared the National Waterway in 1993. Now let's talk about the next one, that is National Waterway number 4. It again is working in the southern region or the peninsular region. Now let's see what is it. It connects the states of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and the Union Territory of Puducherry. Okay, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. And it comprises of Kakinada and Puducherry stretch of canals and Kalureli tank, then stretches of river Godavari and Krishna. So to some extent the canals are there, to some extent it is using the river flow. So it in this manner this entire national waterway is covering almost 1028 kilometers of the distance, right? So that is National Waterway number 4. Now, what about the National Waterway number 5? It comprises of a stretch of river Brahmani, stretch of East Coast Canal, stretch of Matai River, along with Mahanadi Delta River system. Okay, all this actually covers almost 585 kilometers of distance, right? And it was declared the National Waterway in 2000. Now the next one is National Waterway number 6. Waterway between Lakhipur and Bhanga of the river of the Barak River is actually a part of it, right? And it integrates the waterways in the northeast and helps cargo transport through Assam, Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh. All these states are actually using it for the cargo transport, right? So this is again important for which actually provides service to the northeastern region. Okay, basically it is used for the cargo transport. Mostly the people are not clear about what is port and what is harbor, what is the difference between the two, and they just use it as a synonym for each other, right? But it's not. There is a basic difference between the two. What is a port now? Man-made commercial places built along the coastline. And when we talk about harbor, harbor is a natural place, right? Natural place connecting a piece of land with a large water body, which serve as ports. Now, the second point for port is its location is along the coastline. But in the case of harbor, it is surrounded by land on most sides but have an entrance point to the sea. That is one basic condition for harbor. Next is purpose of port is loading and unloading of cargo, right? That means the trade purpose is actually the main purpose for the development of ports. But in the case of harbor, harbor is generally used for anchoring of ships. or for maintenance purpose, you can say. So these are the basic differences between the two. Which are the important ports in India? The basically the most important ports are Kandla, Mumbai, Jawaharlal Nehru Port, or it is also called by the name Nhava Sheva Port, right? Next is Marmagao Port, then New Mangalore, Kochi, Tuticorin, then Chennai, Vishakhapatnam, Paradeep, Kolkata, and Haldia. All these are the important ports of India, right? And through these ports, the trade is actually carried on. What is the importance of ports? For that, you should understand a few basic things. 95% of the country's trade volume is moved by sea, or it is carried on by ports, right? So that is always a very strong plus point. For having a long coastline is a very strong plus point, or you can say advantage for India. So we are having several important ports and harbors, and these ports can be used for the trade purpose. Next is main source of importing and exporting is actually carried on through the ports. Then it promotes international trade, and it helps in overcoming congestion of mainland corridors, right? The transport means in the form of waterways can be carried on through the sea or the oceans by using ports. Otherwise, it would be again on the land, so it would cause a lot of congestion. So it, to some extent, it is relieving that land area from that congestion. Then it provides a lot of employment, also employment opportunities to the people, right? Those who are working on it. Moreover, the shipbuilding industries and all these are a big source of employment. Okay, then these are all these are quite fuel efficient and environment friendly also. For movement of people as well as for the movement of goods, it is one of the best means. Now, let's talk about the other type of waterways, which is oceanic waterway. Okay. Now, India has got, actually, just now I told you in the earlier part that India has a long coastline. What is the length of the coastline? The coastline is almost 7,517 kilometers. Okay. Forming one of the biggest peninsulas in the world. So, we have got 12 major ports and 187 minor and intermediate ports. And in this manner, these all are helping us a lot in the trade activities. Now, ocean routes handle, just now in the earlier part, again, this point I have discussed that the ocean routes only handle almost 95% of the total India's foreign trade by volume and about 75% by value. Now, what are the main advantages? We can say that what are the basic advantages of the water transport? A few we have discussed in the earlier part. Let's check it again. Number one is it is the cheapest means of transport. Okay, the most important advantage of it. Number two is that it needs less fuel for the movement. Number three is it is suitable for carrying heavy and bulky material from one place to the other. So it is basically used for carrying the minerals from one place to the other place, right? Moreover, you can say for carrying the crude oil. This is the most important source of, or you can say the mode of transport. Then it is fuel efficient, eco-friendly, and the travel by ships and cruise liners is quite comfortable. Okay, these days actually a lot of technologically developed ships have been constructed, so that provides quite comfortable journey to the people, and it is safe and has less traffic also. If you see in the sea and ocean bodies, the traffic is quite less. So all these are the advantages of water transport. Now, after this, let's talk about the disadvantages of water transport. What are the negative aspect, or you can say the disadvantages of this means of transport? First, very important disadvantage of it is the slowest means of transport, right? So where we have to reach on time, we need to reach within a short period of time, it is the last option left with us. Okay, because it actually takes a lot of time. So for emergency services, for reaching on time, suppose we have to reach within a short period of time to the other place, for all those or in such conditions, we are not taking this as an option. So it is a strong disadvantage of it. Second thing is that it provides access to limited areas. Wherever water bodies are there, only those areas can be used for that this water transport, or if any area any place is lying on the coast. Otherwise, for the interior areas or the areas which are not having any water bodies close by, those areas will not be able to get any such means of transport there. Okay, so it is only limited area, we can say that it provides access to only limited areas where the water bodies are present. Now, out of the total inland water body available in the world, only a very low percent of it is potentially navigable. That means it is either again, this point to some extent we have discussed in the earlier part. Though water bodies are there, but either the water bodies are moving through a rocky surface or very undulated landform, or it is coming from the mountainous area. The waterfalls, rapids, and all these things actually are not ideal for the water transport. So that is why we say that only limited percent of the total water bodies which are present, these are used for navigable purpose, right? Navigation purpose. And next is it depends on weather condition. That is again a very strong disadvantage of it. It is totally influenced by the weather condition. If weather is bad, it will not be used in that way. So it cannot be used whenever weather condition is not proper, not suitable, or you can say the stormy conditions are there. It is not favorable for the movement of ships. So again, it depends on weather condition. This is again a strong disadvantage. Then next is it needs long traveling hours, which cause seasickness. The people who travel through the seaways, they actually experience this type of problems. Then next is water transport is limited to areas where rivers are navigable and oceanic routes exist. So these are a few disadvantages of the water transport. Now, this is all with this video, children. And as I leave, before that, I want to remind you once again, do share the link of this video with your friends. And also don't forget to subscribe the channel. And as you subscribe the channel, press the bell icon so that any new video, if it is uploaded on the channel, you'll get the information about it. So see you soon in the next video. Till then, bye.